Hey, Puppy Trades! I hope everyone is having a great Wednesday. I am, very pleased with, how this month, this first month of 2024 has ended, and I'm really excited for February. And I'm kind of starting to get to this point where I'm starting to accept that the the system I built is kind of done. It's kind of finished. Like really, it's I can look up individual stock plays and stuff like that. But as far as retirement goes, as far as growing my dividend income exponentially and my asset base exponentially, my system for doing that is finished essentially. And really, I'm trying to get about 5 or 6 brokerage accounts to between 250 and $500,000 spread across about 30 to 35 funds, and also getting some individual names in there as well. And I'm really honestly moving towards the stage of asset protection. Most of my focus actually isn't even on making money from the stock market anymore with all these new ETFs that sell options, the rising interest rates, and basically every option selling strategy ever is now available on an ETF extremely efficiently. And now there's even 2 fund families running synthetic covered calls, allowing that same strategy on that same stock underlying to be compounded every 2 weeks just for one strategy. Not to mention, now there's so many covered call ETFs, there's a possibility of getting 2 or 3 dividends a month just from selling options on indices, even just from selling options as on bond ETFs. Isn't that crazy? Holding the bond underlying ETF like HYG. What I like to do, I like to blend HYGW with my favorite kind of riskier bond holdings that have pretty nice returns. Anyway, that was a big tangent. Well, I guess I'm not done with the stock market. That's probably good news. But I'm starting to accept that, my, I'm going to get to kind of live the dream. A lot of people, in my fields, I entered finance. Growing up, I wanted to be a retirement, planner. I wanted to be a retired active investor. And honestly, I did that. But most people who want to have a career in finance, um, they end up doing sales. They end up doing sales. They become salesmen for companies like Fidelity, BlackRock, JP Morgan. Very few people ever will ever actually make it to a trading desk for an institution. And when they do, they almost always do it through the path that I did, which is where they prove they can invest independently first, then they show the results to the firm. Anyway, the other thing I was really interested in was journalism. And a lot of people, unfortunately, in writing and literature, I was always, told growing up that I really had a penchant for writing and, literature and, even radio. And I was like, wow, like that's sweet, because those are, we talk about the people who write books and the people who influence, the world is really respectable positions. But in our economy, they're not. In our economy, writers, that's not a good job to have, especially, during stagflation, right? Being a writer isn't a good job to have. Retirement sales, a lot of people get laid off. They're being replaced by, robo AI advisors. There's not really a reason for a physical salesperson anymore. And so, you know, I get to be a real, you know, journalist, influencer, whatever. I get to be a retired, active, investor with, really more of a passive system. And, you know, I don't want to just, I really can't. I'm not even really capable of just goofing off all day and, drinking sangria and golfing. Honestly, like I've drank sangria and been at the beach and all that. After 3 or 4 days, like I need to be looking at the bar chart screen and talking about the real economic policies that would fix all this country's problems. Anyway, that was all a long roundabout way of saying I'm gonna take the journalism and YouTube thing a little more seriously. And so I've been researching what YouTubers and journalists do. And one thing that's come across time and time again, it's really off-putting when YouTubers, journalists, whoever, state things as fact that they don't actually know to be fact, and they make bizarre claims as if they were fact just because they really believe them. And I think that for most of what I do, I'm very good about showing the evidence, proving that they're not really just beliefs. And even if they aren't, just my beliefs, I want to show, gravity is technically a theory, right? If we're still calling gravity a theory, then we should still be able to say our opinions, even if they're not 100% true, right? But one of the things that I've implied is that ritual sacrifices go on in this world on the main stage. And I've also implied and said blatantly, these ritual sacrifices are connected to the stock market, okay? So I was doing my regular old, routine, and I saw something pretty sick, and I stopped what I was doing. I didn't even log into my reel. I'm on a guest account right now. I saw something pretty sick, and I want to show you guys, and you guys can tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments below if you think this is all just ridiculous. We're going to talk about something interesting. So Delaware and Dover, Delaware have been in the news recently. I have a post recently. Elon Musk says Tesla is a non-starter because it's a post-IPO Delaware, right? I have a post about that. And that post aside, let's just get into why Delaware was trending this week and why Dover, Delaware was trending this week. Elon Musk suggests Tesla could leave Delaware after a judge blocks his $55 million pay deal. They've got his mask a little, tighter. I think they saw it. Anyway, Elon Musk is not happy with the state of Delaware. Elon Musk has lashed out at the state of Delaware. Musk posted a poll asking ex-users whether Tesla should change its state of incorporation to Texas. On Tuesday, a Delaware judge ruled against his $55 billion compensation package. Elon Musk is not happy about something, and right now is often not happy about something, and right now he's very unhappy with Delaware. The Tesla CEO lashed out about after a Delaware judge ruled against his $55 billion compensation package on Tuesday. Let me just editorialize. I love how Elon is telling the regular average Joe who would go start an LLC, don't incorporate your company in the state of Delaware. Like the average Joe Blow is going to be dealing with a $55 billion compensation package in court. The judge, Kathleen J. McCormick, sided with a lawsuit from a Tesla shareholder that argued Musk's pay plan was excessive. So a random Tesla shareholder just... What? Who the heck was this guy? Whoa, I'm pissed. What the... Yo, he does not speak for all of us. What the... Anyway. That jackass. Oh my... You got Elon in court. Anyway, the ruling, which Tesla can appeal, threatens Musk's title as the world's richest person. You can just upload we can just upload the world's richest person to Neuralink soon, so that won't be a problem. Since then, Musk has been sounding off on X and suggested he could take Tesla out of the state entirely, never incorporate your company in the state of Delaware, he posted, following up with a suggestion to incorporate in Nevada or Texas. Nevada, where we got the big primary coming up, where it's legal to fake your death, and also the Super Bowl. And we also got Texas, which is obviously, I don't need to explain. If you've been under a rock, you probably don't know why. But what's the capital of Delaware? It's Dover, Delaware. It's Dover, Delaware. And if you haven't noticed, Elon Musk has a pretty close relationship with the United States military and the U.S. Navy through, his various relationships with his companies, Tesla, SpaceX. I'm sure he, I don't know. Anyway, I think it's common knowledge that Elon Musk has, at least a little bit of a relationship with the United States military. His Twitter account, that the body double who's posting on his Twitter account is, always referencing the United States military, and when that U.S. Navy captain or admiral or chaplain, he gave a very interesting prayer at the Army-Navy game, and Elon Musk made sure he talked about it a lot. And people on this, a little bit of a community I'm in, we think that Elon Musk is doing something called comms. They're communicating in a coded message, right? And so in the spirit of being a journalist and a YouTuber, and, I'm going to give a little bit more evidence that institutions are communicating with each other through what are called comms. Various stories. If you know how to read between the lines, you will be able to understand that there's the message for the sheep, and then there's a message for the big boys, the MMs. I'm going to do my best to prove that in this video. First off, this guy's name is Kirby. Secondly, another major U.S. military person is also named Kirby. I'm pretty sure the leader of the U.S. Navy, or the highest person in charge right now, his name is also Kirby. This guy's name is Kirby. Why does that matter? Because I've already posted about how Kirby is the name, just so happens to be the name of the largest, we'll get the exact. Kirby Corporation is the largest domestic tank barge operator in the United States. The company is responsible for transporting bulk liquid products, including petrochemicals, black oil, and refined products. The company transports bulk liquid through the Mississippi River system on the Gulf Intracoastal Waterway along all three coasts of the United States and in Alaska and Hawaii. Kirby also rents out various equipments like generators and forklifts so that they can use to be utilized in industrial markets. Okay, the company the company focuses on manufacturing and remanufacturing equipment related to oil field service. The company, through its subsidiaries, operates via following segments: marine, transportation, distribution, and services. I've talked a lot about how there's been some very strange activity on Kirby Corp. And, we've got all these people specifically associated with the United States military and the U.S. Navy named Kirby, and they're all coming out, and this is a little bit of an off reach. We'll get into, what's really going to be, and this isn't the same account I had. Like I said, I was so sick by what I saw, I was still on a guest account. I like to look at the charts, naked. But what I've had and what I've posted, you can search at Puppy Trades, KEX, was that this was wave 1, and I was looking for a wave 3 to begin. So far, it looks like that is playing out for Kirby Corporation. I suspect that this low right here, 74.88, is going to end up marking a wave 2. A very clean subdivision. I'll just show you what I think the subdivision is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, whenever I do a subdivision, what I wanted, the best way to do it is to get the RSI out. Relative strength, turn off. That RSI average line, I think on the weekly or the monthly chart, that could end up being useful for more objective. But anyway, I don't use that as part of my system. So this is how the RSI helps me subdivide these waves. Really, if wave 1 was labeled here or here, I don't think it'd be worth, starting an argument over. This could be wave 1 and wave 2. I think it would also be fine to say this is wave 1 and wave 2. I think because of the size of this correction, the fact that it's going past the 61.8% retracement would lead credence to the fact that's wave 1 and wave 2. Wave 3, we got a real dramatic wave 3. Here's why it's obviously wave 3. It makes this big, noticeable, highest high on the RSI. And that's really the kicker of it. And what I like to do, I'll even go down and label these, right? But that's 5 because it ends with momentum divergence. We got an ABC correction. And then I think we went 1-2 from this low. But anyway, this was all just to talk about Kirby. I'm going to talk about why I really made this video right now. I think it's going to be a short one, hopefully, with DOVER Corp. Because this was a little sick. I've been watching this screen recently. But yesterday, Elon goes on a massive rant, and Delaware is trending all day. The capital of Delaware is Dover, Delaware, and Joe Biden, our president, officially, I don't even know if that's even true, he's from Delaware, okay? The capital of Delaware is Dover, Delaware. Elon is having a huge argument about, the corporate law of the state of Delaware. So he's obviously beefing with the capital of Delaware, Dover, Delaware. Joe Biden, while he was a legislator, presumably was in the capital of Dover, Delaware. And I would think that Delaware, that most famous city is going to be Dover. Okay, so let's look at another thing that Dover was in the beach for. This was kind of nasty. All right, downright insult to the families of the fallen. What happened? The 3 U.S. Army reservists killed on Saturday in Jordan, they're going to return to the U.S. So look at how sick this is. This is honestly disgusting. There is a 55 connection to something about 55 and this story. We might even see it, but it was like a big thing. So they were killed at base 22. They were killed at base 22, and 3 soldiers were killed. So 322 is their favorite number because Genesis 3:22 is the Bible verse where they believe, and really it is saying that God and Satan are one. They are inverses of each other. And this is where they get that because Genesis 3:22 is after Adam and Eve eat from the forbidden fruit of the tree of knowledge. God says to Satan, like, what have you done? They have eaten from the tree of, I don't have it right, with me right now. But God says to Satan, what have you done? You've given them fruit of the tree of knowledge. They shall become as we are. So what I'm going to do is, this is what God says. He says, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to guard the tree of life with flaming swords and arrows. That's what he says. That's what really happens in the Garden of Eden. Satan gives Adam and Eve forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge. And God gets pissed at Satan for that. He says, what have you done? You gave them fruit from the tree of knowledge. And there's another tree that the Bible, in that same verse, also in that same, description of the creation story, also talks about, called the tree of life. So God basically says, dang it, Satan, you gave them fruit of the tree of knowledge. So now they're going to become as, we are. So I need to guard the tree of life. I got to guard the tree of life from them with flaming swords and arrows. And so this is where they have this obsession with the number 322, 3 soldiers killed at base 22. And there was something about the number 55 with that story. I just noticed that because it's a $55 billion deal. So I'm pretty sure the big numbers with this, it's base 22, 3 people killed, and I'm almost 100% positive. Actually, I can look it up right now. Jordan troops 55. Let's see. Was it? Maybe I just thought about this. It was CBS News reported this at 55 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see. 7:55 a.m. is when this began. Yeah, see, Tower 22, 3 dead at Tower 22. Wow. Anyway, let's see. Did they look at this? Did they? I thought Google said 7:55 was like in the description. This is ABC Chicago. Let's see. Why did they put 55 in here? Yeah, I want you guys to see, if I look for something and it's not there, but look at this again. Dover Air Force Base, Kirby. I mean, these are comms. They're telling people exactly what to buy. I'm telling you, Kirby, like just watch, just watch. Kirby Corp, 1, 2, and I was all over this. I was like, hey, they're dog whistling Kirby. They're dog whistling Kirby. Bang! Looks like wave 3 of wave 3's begun. And I think that a lot of oil looks like this. This has been a very common theme. I think Kirby's on a path towards 94 in the long term. Shorter term might be something like this. $55 billion deal though. 3 soldiers dead at base 22. Now let's focus on this Dover connection. Elon Musk just so happens to be going crazy whining about Dover, Delaware, and it was trending all day yesterday on X. Okay? Now we got Kirby, largest, oil tanker for the U.S. He's talking about Dover Air Force Base. A completely different, totally unrelated story. Just also happens to be incorporating the capital of Delaware, Dover. So Joe Biden's not going to attend. Apparently, it's a disgrace. A solemn military ceremony for those killed in combat. John Kirby was asked about Biden. This was not a very good article. But anyway, the soldiers are going to be buried in Dover, Delaware. Okay, Austin to call families of fallen soldiers, U.S. Department of Defense, Secretary of Defense Lloyd J. Austin III. Again, Elon's like, hey, we should go from Delaware to Austin. They're programming the Civil War. Is expected to call the families of 3 soldiers who were killed over the weekend by an attack by an uncrewed aerial system, or UAS, at a military base in Jordan, a Defense Department official says. I want to express condolences for the family members and loved ones of the 3 U.S. soldiers. 3, and then right here, 222, right under the same line. Get it in your head, 322, 322. The soldiers were assigned to the 718th Engineer Company, 926th Engineer Battalion, 926th Engineer Brigade at Fort Moore, Georgia, and were in the Jordan to support Operation Inherent Resolve. So, let's just focus on this unusual option screen now. Yesterday, Dover, Delaware, and Delaware itself trending all day because Elon Musk going crazy about this rant about what's going on at the Delaware capital, which is Dover. This same weekend, and if there's another 55 connection, it's a $55 billion deal. This same weekend, 3 soldiers were dead in Jordan at base 22. And they are going to be moved to Dover. They were killed in Jordan at base 22, 3 of them, and they're going to be moved to Dover, Delaware. So yesterday, Monday and Tuesday, you have been heavily heard the message: Delaware Dover, Delaware Capital, Delaware Dover military base. It's a huge story. And they're going to be buried there Friday, so we're going to keep even being told about it. Well, what would you know today? Look at this. Unusual stock options volume, Wednesday, January 31st. This is statistically telling the masses what stocks have really unusual options volume. Surprise, surprise. The first one is Vista Energy Company, extremely bull bet right there. Not over, almost 100% calls. All right, so that would be an interesting one. I'll probably just pull that up right now. New York Community Bank, I saw that on the straddle screen, posted about it. Their straddle hit. That's probably, I assume that was an earnings play. If that wasn't an earnings play, then I need to go see what that was all about. But look at this. You get down, right? Some, most of them are stocks that have huge moves, right? So I don't really care if a stock's had a huge move and it's on an unusual stock option screen because it's had a huge move. If it has an outsized move, or huge news breaks, then I'm expecting it to have unusual options volume. So I don't think it's strange to see Powell or Rockwell Automation or New York Community Bank on this screen. Okay, Wabash National, I'll probably end up looking at that. It looks like that was a bear bet. This was a straddle on PTC. But then look at this. Dover Corp. We statistically are seeing right now 910% unusual options volume. This stock has barely moved. Has any news broken out about Dover Corp? No news has broken out about this stock today. It hasn't moved at all. So why is there unusual stock options volume on it? It's because big money knows about how these people communicate through channels openly. The illuminated ones, the secret societies, the NW order, whatever. They don't meet in dark rooms. They don't meet in the woods and wear robes and, sacrifice people anymore. I'm sure some people do that, but the way that these people communicate is in the open, in broad daylight. They believe that they need to do this right in front of you so that they can be relieved of karmic justice. They think that there's some energy out there. And so if they don't tell us, it's, so they're telling us Dover. Hey, we told them Dover. We were screaming Dover in their face. We had Delaware trending and a capital dispute trending about it all day. Now, Dover Corp hasn't moved, down 0.32%. But it has extreme 910% unusual options volume, over 92% calls. Let's look at Dover. Let's just read about this company. Looks like a good one. Dover Corp is an industrial conglomerate producing a wide range of specialized industrial products and manufacturing equipment. They deliver innovative equipment and components, consumable supplies, aftermarket parts, software and digital solutions, and support services through 5 operating segments: engineered products, clean energy and fueling, imaging identification, pumps and process solutions, and climate sustainability technologies. Dover combines global scale with operational agility to lead the markets they serve. So it kind of seems like this stock is boring. Kind of seems like, not really an exciting one, and it's not moving at all today. So why does it have 910% unusual options volume? Because large institutions aren't stupid. They know Elon Musk and Joe Biden are puppets. They know that we have been run by military tribunals, so all of the people who are communicating and acting on behalf or acting like they are Elon Musk, acting like they are Joe Biden, are military body doubles. So they know these people are communicating in their code. These are ex-coms. The only reason that Dover Corp has all this unusual options volume, let's just look at the chart now. It hasn't moved. No crazy news has broken about this stock sector. This was a dog whistle. This was a dog whistle. Plain and simple. They don't even need the dog whistle. Vista Energy, damn. But Kirby Corp, yeah, this is whistling. I've said this is whistling. It's kept ripping. Yum and Avery were on these. But I'm interested in Dover. This was kind of sick. You really think there was another reason? Go. I think there's a clear explanation. You know? I think there's a clear explanation. Dover, Delaware, trending on Twitter. Elon Musk talking about it all day. Joe Biden says he's not going to go to the funerals in Dover, his home state, of those fallen servicemen and women. Sorry, they were women. I believe they were women. You think he doesn't know that'd be a bad move politically? It's almost like they want us all to hate Joe Biden so that he can be the fall guy. It's almost like not everyone who's in the smart money or the illuminated ones or whatever these societies are that everyone's so sure is running the show, not all of them are doing Elliott Wave. They're not all doing Elliott Wave. So they're not all looking at unusual option screens. So if you got some smart money buddy that you know and you control the media, how are you going to tell them in a coded language that this is the next play? They're in your club. They're in your, cult or whatever. They've got a sickness. Every single person in this group owes someone something. And what they have to do, they gotta let their buddies know. Baron Rothschild said, "Buy the blood." I just want you guys to know, he wasn't talking about blood. He wasn't talking about this. It pains me to say it. He was talking about this. This is the blood he was talking about. Dover trending all day. Dover, Delaware. Delaware capital. Dover, Delaware. Same day. Dover, Delaware trending. Because Joe Biden isn't even going to go. Maybe now he's going to go. So it's a big controversy if Joe Biden's even going to go to Dover, Delaware for the 3 soldiers to be buried tomorrow. This was the blood that Baron Rothschild was talking about. This was the blood. Inside Job on Netflix. They got Netflix. They made that show Cuties, right? Cuties, Netflix. They're run by some good people. Well, Netflix also made a show called Inside Job. Has a little joke, lots of jokes about the New World Order, the shadow government. It's called Inside Job. Pretty funny. One of those very funny, very first jokes. Opening scene. It's a satanic ritual. They sacrifice a goat. And they say, 14 points for JP Morgan. I mean, think about all what we've seen with the airlines. All the airlines are going up, but the planes are having problems. Buy the blood. By the blood. Well, this is what by the blood means. This is what by the blood means.